everybody. Y'all go ahead and start heading to your seat. Get your snacks, get your candy, get all the things. I know. But I'm going to go ahead and let Miss Carolyn come up from ACI. She has another giveaway that she's going to do, and she's going to talk to y'all a little bit about the brochure, or the little brochure that's in your hand, whatever, in your folder. You know what I mean.
Hi, good afternoon. I am, like she said, Carolyn Thompson. I work for Alabama Commercial Industries. I'm accounting, payroll, and personnel. Is that better? Usually I don't need one of these. Usually I'm loud enough to be heard anyway. Again, I'm Carolyn Thompson, ACI, accounting, payroll, and personnel. Amber Bradley works with me with accounting, payroll, and personnel. And Ms. Chrissy Whaley is with our sales staff. She has a table right outside the door, so she will be available to answer any questions about our products. We sell to any tax-based entity, state, county, city, and federal. We sell furniture, chairs. Chrissy can tell you a lot more about this than me, print. We have a variety of things. We are in a part of the Department of Corrections. We are a training program. We train inmates so that hopefully if and when they get released, they have a skill set to help them find and keep a job so that it will cut down on the recidivism if they not go back to being incarcerated again. So in a nutshell, that's what we are. We are having an open house next Wednesday, October the 8th. There is a flyer in your packet. Please feel free to come to our show open house. If you can't make it, come to our showroom any point in time. Miss Christy, Ashley, and Jackie can help you in any way, or we can send a sales rep out to your office if need be. They'll be glad to help you with anything you may need. And we do have another door prize. We had one earlier, and it was a free box of business cards, and that is what we're doing again. So let's see who the lucky person is. Jeannie, you want to do the honors?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Stephanie Harrison, Forensic Sciences.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank y'all so much, ladies. All right. Thank y'all so much, ACI. Y'all, they do build some great furniture. I have a couple pieces in my office, and I love them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce Miss Brooke Elmore. She is with Hinge Health. She's going to come up and talk to you about this wonderful program that's available to you guys absolutely free if you're on the state medical coverage. And then I believe she's got some giveaways to do at the end of her presentation as well. Y'all give her a big warm welcome, okay?
Thank you. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I love it. I love it. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. You guys have eaten, hopefully eaten well. My name is Dr. Brooke Elmore. I am a clinical doctor of physical therapy and one of the physical therapy managers at Hinge Health. So by a show of hands, how many of you guys have heard of Hinge Health? Okay. Show of hands, how many of you guys are using Hinge Health? Some scattered. Okay, more than yesterday. Give yourselves a round of applause. Awesome. So hopefully, you guys, I will leave you with some really important information. And by the time I'm done, hopefully you will see the added benefit and why Jeannie was so excited about this one in particular. Hopefully you guys will stop back there where I'm located and get signed up, because this is something that's accessible to you and it's no cost out of pocket to you. So who are we? Hinge Health. So one of the things I'm going to go over today, Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Other way. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to go over a little bit about who we are, what we do. I'm also going to go over some of our program highlights. Yes. Okay, somebody's coming to take care of that. Thank you. I'm also going to let you guys know how we are structured. So I'm going to share with you about our care team. And I'm going to skip past this video. Yesterday, we had a video of someone that we've helped. If you want to watch that video, please stop by the back and I will show that to you as well. And then next steps for getting signed up. So what is Hinge Health? So Hinge Health is a digital MSK company. We essentially are like having a physical therapist and a health coach in your pocket. So we help empower you to move. So move through barriers. What types of barriers? Can somebody name one barrier that we might have to encourage you to move through what? Pain, that's a good one. So yes, we actually help you to move through mental barriers, physical barriers, so that you can get more active and achieve the functional goals that you desire for yourself. So our two founders, Gabe and Dan Perez, both of those gentlemen were just everyday people who have had injuries. They went through an extensive bout of physical therapy. And one thing that they realized was that there were some gaps and holes in the system. Have you guys ever seen gaps and holes in the medical system?
Yes, ma'am.
All right now. So their experience has left a lot to be desired. So they set out on a journey to make healthcare more accessible. They leverage technology to do that. So now with the merger of technology and accessibility to healthcare professionals, you now have with the creation that they created, Hinge Health. One of the things that we are doing is we're transforming the way pain is treated. So many of you guys have probably gone through traditional PT. Has anyone here done physical therapy traditionally in the past? Okay. And if you haven't done it yourself, you probably know someone who's actually gone through it 9 times out of 10. So one of the things that we're doing is we're trying to make a shift from traditional to this Hinge Health model, which is making accessibility to physical therapy a lot easier. So we work up to 3 body parts. So traditionally, you may only be focusing on one body part. They might throw in another, but we allow you to work up to 3 body parts at the same time. In addition to that, you have unlimited messaging to your care team. Your care team consists of your physical therapist and your health coach. So we can get messages from you 24 hours a day. And it really is a great opportunity for you to reach out if you have questions, if you're doing your exercises and you think you're doing them wrong, you have direct access to your care team. In addition, it can be done anywhere. I literally was doing my exercises in my hotel room yesterday. I didn't do them today. Don't be mad. But also, it's no cost to you. I think this is the big take-home piece. It seems too good to be true, but it really is one of those opportunities that is very good to take advantage of because you're not going to be paying out of pocket for this service. The healthcare professionals dictate your treatment, not your insurance company. So this is also an added benefit because now we can really lean into giving you what you need. In the traditional sense, a lot of times we're dictated by insurance companies. You can't get another visit because your insurance company won't approve it. There's a lot of barriers in the traditional setting. And unfortunately, with Hinge Health, we are not bound to those barriers. So we can give you what you need. And it's really easy to do. It's not going to take a whole lot of your time. You don't have to spend 30, 45 minutes on an exercise program. We actually have exercise sessions between 10 and 15 minutes, which can make a world of difference. All right. So the goal is to help you and meet you where you are. I think that's the biggest piece. Some people are like, oh, I don't really do a whole lot of that moving around stuff. I really am not really active, but we will meet you where you are. Our exercises have modifications. Maybe you have knee problems. Maybe you have ankle problems. Maybe you have balance problems. Maybe you're a high-level athlete. We will meet you exactly where you are. So as you can see, these people probably have different types of issues that they were going through. We treat from head to toe. So just about every joint in between, all the large muscle groups, we're treating all of that. Some of the program highlights that I want to go over today, and it shows here in this diagram, like I said, we are really treating all of the joints from head to toe. So neck, upper back, shoulder, elbows, forearms, wrists, and hands, the pelvic region, hips and lower back, thighs and knees, shins and calves, and ankles. So the good part about it is that we use evidence-based research to provide you with your exercise program. So we're looking at research, we're informed by research, and like I said, we nearly are caring for all of the areas of your body. So exercise therapy. Exercise therapy is a type of physical activity that's tailored to your unique needs. So like I said, we meet you where you are. We structure and customize your program based on those needs, based on your limitations, based on the things that are most important to you. Maybe you say, you know what, Dr. Brooke, I really can't do 5 days a week. I can only commit to 3. We will tailor your program to fit your life and your lifestyle. Did I say it was no cost to you? All right. Some of the technology highlights. So the beautiful part about this is you never have to go into an actual office. You can do this all from the comfort of your home, from your cell phone or tablet. We use an app where you would tap into your care team, and it looks something like this. If you want to get an actual demo, I have a demo app back there too. So if you stop back, I can show you kind of how the program is structured. And then over here, this is how your app would look. This is your care team. So your care team is either going to consist of your doctor of physical therapy. All of our physical therapists are doctors, and all of our health coaches are board certified health coaches. Got it out. So that would be your care team, an expert care team that is trained, once again, to personalize the experience for you. This one here, I think, is one of the things that I get most excited about because I've seen so many people who've suffered with chronic pain and pain in general find relief from our Enzo. So any of the folks who use Hinge Health, is anyone using the Enzo? Awesome. So 1, 2, couple people using Enzo. Beautiful. So has anyone ever heard of a TENS unit? Okay. That's the comparison I'll use, but this is 10 times better. Partly because it penetrates deeper into the surface of the tissue where you're experiencing pain. And also, there's no lines and leads. So you literally can wear this at your desk. You can go shopping in the grocery store, and you're not bound by cords and things of that nature like you would with a TENS unit. It works from your phone, so it's Bluetooth connected. It's non-invasive, it's non-addictive, and it's a great way to help address pain, especially if you're trying to veer away from prescriptions and couple it with something additional. Another one of our programs that we launched a little over a year ago now is our Women's Pelvic Health Program. I gave a statistic yesterday. I'm going to give it to you guys as well. 1 in 4 women suffer with some type of pelvic floor issue. Majority of those women do not speak about it. They don't talk about it. They just had their babies and go. They just kind of deal with these things. The prevalence, 1 in 4, is actually higher than those with diabetes. So most likely, either yourself or someone you know is dealing with some type of pelvic floor issue. So we're really supporting women with these disorders at all stages of life: pregnancy, postpartum, and menopause. We actually have a menopause program for women who are pre and postmenopausal. It's very important that you guys exercise, keep your bones strong as you age. All of these things have been proven by research to be very beneficial for the aging woman. And the same thing, we have expert guides who are trained specifically as women's pelvic health certified therapists, movement-based symptom management, lifestyle and behavior changes, in addition to education that you can tap into. We have a plethora of resources as well that have all been vetted, tried, and tested that are at your fingertips. And this is just another statistic. 43% of all Hinge Health members are women of perimenopause age. So this is a really big part of our population that we treat are women in this category. So this kind of breaks it down. We are able to add on the women's pelvic health. Once again, there's no cost to you to add that on. If you are interested and have any additional questions, once again, stop by the back and I will lead you through some answers. And I can also show you in the app some of the exercises that will help with menopause. All right, so I'm going to go really quickly over the care team. I mentioned before that the care team consists of your physical therapist. The physical therapist will lead your journey. They will lead the care team. So one will work with you throughout the entire program. They can make changes to your program at any time. And they're also going to be the ones that actually start you on the journey and link in your health coach. So the health coach is the next person that is on your care team. They work side by side. We communicate really to serve you, to meet your need, to encourage you, to motivate you, to keep you accountable, right? How many of us set out on a journey of fitness or wellness, and we just need an accountability partner? This is a great program for that as well. This is the one I said I'm going to go pass by. All right. If you want to see, I can show you if you stop by the back. These are just some additional statistics. 68% a reduction in pain. So this is after a 12-week study of folks who tapped into the Hinge Health program. 68% of them had a reduction of pain after 12 weeks. 58% had a reduction in feelings of anxiety and depression. So exercise, there's a direct correlation between exercise being a huge proponent to help to decrease those symptoms of depression and anxiety, obviously without medication. So what are the next steps? The next steps are to get signed up. Bare minimum, if you have any questions, if you have any hesitation, I would definitely be more than happy to walk you through the sign up process. We can do it on site. If you stop by the back, there is a card back there which has a QR code. You can just scan the QR code. As soon as you sign up, you will be assigned your exercises and your care team within minutes. So you don't have to wait to really get started unless there's some extra issues that you put in your AQ form that might require some additional questioning. And do we have time for questions? Are we good? Any questions before oh, yes, I love it. Yes, ma'am.
After this class last year, I went and signed up, and I had 2 vaccines. And one was pretty expensive, but I've gone through all my PT benefits, and the pay was at less. But then when I went to sign in, the questionnaires were not specific enough for me to kind of really define what I was doing. That's one of the But then the other question is can this be used, like for myself, there are certain exercises I can do, just on my vaccine, but just for general health purposes, you don't have to be in, I thought that I had to be in some kind of severe pain to be able to sign up. So is that a criteria for signing up, for being able to use this program, or if it's anybody who wants to do self exercises?
Yes, great question. So the young lady had a question and asked, do you have to be in pain or already have some type of pre-existing condition to be able to tap into this program? Or is it really for anyone? So yes, the program is for anyone. Even if you don't have pain, even if you don't have a prior diagnosis, you do not need a diagnosis to tap into this program. There's many people who come and say, hey, listen, I don't have any pain at all, but I want to prevent pain from setting in my body. So we have a prevention program, strengthen your core. We have a balance program. So there's a lot of different angles. Pain is not the only way into the Hinge Health funnel. Really, it's just anyone who's trying to improve, whether it's pushing through pain, pushing through anything else, mental barrier to physical activity. So we can help anyone pretty much no matter where they are.
But what how I understood it is what drove the exercises that you got were how you answered that question. I just felt like it was limited, so it just kind of pointed me to certain exercises. I may have read it.
And I kind of know what you're alluding to. So there's questions when you get ready to sign up. There are questions that do ask about pain. But if you don't have any pain, then you answer accordingly. So if you haven't had any pain, you just say no pain. But some people have physical limitations. Some people have balance issues. Some people just want to strengthen their core, right? So you can once you get assigned your care team, that's really when you would reach out and kind of express to them what your goals are. That's the beauty of the app. It's like, hey, I didn't see an opportunity to express it on my application. These are the things I'm looking to do, and they will customize that program to fit your need. Yeah, great question. Great question. If you want to stop by the back, I can kind of help you facilitate that to get you where you need to be. Awesome. Another question. Yes, ma'am.
Where does this fall under? So, like, I had back issues also, and my doctor was like, well, insurance is going to require you to go to physical therapy before we can go any further. So, is this okay, if you got to go to physical therapy, do you guys fall under that category? Does this count?
Yes, it still counts as physical therapy. It won't take away from like your in-person physical therapy benefit, right? Because
like the deductible or whatever, whenever you pay the physical therapy people, I always felt like it was a different price every time, or it's expensive to go to physical therapy. It's very expensive to go to physical therapy.
It is.
And yet I was told by my doctor's office, you've got to go to physical therapy before you can take the next step. And so,
like a injection or a surgery or whatever it may be.
Physical therapy 4 times before I could like work towards the injections. So would this have taken the place of that? No.
I wouldn't think so. Now I could be wrong. So if you want to email me that, I can definitely check into it. I think this would be in addition to, not in place of. And that's where we were talking about earlier with the deductible increase. Our deductible, it pertains to this type of stuff, like speech therapy, physical therapy, that's where you meet your deductible. So yes, it probably did cost a different amount every time.
Yeah.
Just like when I sent my daughter to speech therapy, I went 4 times and I paid completely different amounts every time. But it ended up adding up to the deductible when I met it, and then it went down to the copay. So, but that's kind of how, but I would think it would just be in addition to and not in place.
Yeah, and to that point as well, Janie, there are certain things that they're trying to determine that only an in-person physical therapist can determine.
Right.
So, unfortunately, we don't have that luxury. It can be done in conjunction with, but I don't think it would be in lieu of. Yeah, awesome. I'll take a couple more questions. Yes. Great question. So the gel pads, there's gel pads that go with that Enso device. You can get replacement pads for free directly inside of your app. If you want, after this, I can show you how you can order your replacement pads. It's in the My Care tab in your app, and then you can request your free replacement pads. Awesome. I'll take one more question.
For the exercise you have to do, do you require any special equipment, bands, or anything like that?
Great question. So she's asking for the exercises that require some type of equipment. Do you guys have to purchase the bands? So you will be able to receive the equipment. There's some exercise programs that will require exercise bands. They are also a part of the program as well. So there's no out-of-pocket cost for those types of extra additives. Some folks need a yoga mat to be able to perform their exercises on the floor. So we provide all those things if it's something that is needed for you to complete your exercises. Awesome. Okay, I have one giveaway.
And I think you actually have one more question.
Okay. Another question. I'm sorry, I missed a hand.
Is there a cost for the Enso unit?
No, there's no cost for the Enso unit either. So there is an AQ process. So there's a pre-questionnaire to determine if you qualify, not based on cost, but just kind of based on, like, for instance, if you have any, any rod placements or any hardware placements that are within a certain distance from where the Enso will be placed. So there's certain things that we can't provide you the Enso for. So if you are approved for it, then there is no additional cost for that device. Okay, so let's go ahead and see who we have a bento box.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
I got my names in here. Okay, so the winner is Janitha Isaac. Oh, she looks so excited. Give her a round of applause, guys. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Like I said, I will be here for the remainder of the day. If you have any questions or you need assistance getting signed up, you just need that extra push, I would be really happy to help you with that process.
Jeannie, can I ask you one more question with that?
Sure.
Is that employees only or is it anybody covered under our insurance?
Anybody well, it's you and a dependent spouse. Yeah, your dependent spouse, if they're on the medical coverage, then y'all can both use Hinge. Yes. If they're on the basic Blue Cross medical, if they're Medicare Advantage, then no. But if they're on the regular Blue Cross CHIP, the group 13,000, then yes. Okay? All right. I'm going to turn it over to Kristen. She's going to talk to you guys about your SEEB health coverage, okay?
All right,
Y'all
thank
clap.
you.
Tell her you're excited she can. All right, thank you. Well, good afternoon. I'm Kristen Henderson. I am y'all's benefit advisor for the Southwest region. Right now, we're tackling the whole state. So, we're going to go over your SEEB health coverage. Okay, so with SEIB, we have 5 different health options that your employees can pick from. So first is the State Employees Health Insurance Plan. That's the CHIP plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield and the pharmacy benefit administered by Prime Therapeutics. Yes, ma'am, I can do that. Okay, and so if your employees need health coverage, they can enroll in the State Employees Health Insurance Plan. If they have health benefits outside of the state with a spouse, a previous employer, through their parents, they can pick from one of our free plans that we have listed here. So we have the supplemental plan from Blue Cross Blue Shield, the premium cash option, which is through Optum Financial. We have the limited purpose HRA, that's also through Optum Financial, and then the optional plan, which is through Southland. So those are their options. There really should not be a reason why they would decline all coverage. We have lots of great options for them, and I'm going to go into detail of those. Okay, so like Jeannie said, on our new website, we're going to have this great looking layout right here that shows what the benefit is, what your insurance premium is going to be, and the price up top, that is going to be with all the discounts applied. So, SEEB discounts. So on our website, you'll find the IBO5 form, and that's going to be the non-tobacco user premium discount. Your employee will need to sign this and their covered spouse in order to get that $65 discount on their insurance premium. And that's per month, per member, per covered spouse. And they have to be tobacco-free for 12 months. However, we do have the tobacco cessation discount, and that is through 1-800-QUIT-NOW. That they can enroll in this program, go through the whole 12-month program, and then they can get their discount after they complete that program. The $65 a month, that's a pretty good discount. So you can find this form on our website as well, and you can always reach out to us if you have any questions with that. Okay, and the wellness premium discount. So, Jeannie has already gone over all of wellness, but if you do prefer to go to your doctor, you need to print out this form and take it with you to your provider. You will have to pay your $35 copay, but if you love your doctor, you can get it done there. Just make sure you get that form, have them fill it out, and make sure you get a copy and send it to us, okay? That's how you're going to get your discount. So wellness premium discount, that's an additional $50 a month for you and your covered spouse. So these are due by October 31st to submit it to us or wellness. And then you can call that discount verification line. Is that number right? So it's 334-895. Okay, so it is right now. 6642.
Yeah, 859.
Okay.
I'm reading.
Don't write that one down. Okay. It was 334-859-6642. So that is an automated line that you can call, give that number to your employees. They can call and find out their status on their the discount verification line. They'll tell you exactly what they need to do to get their discount. And then we also have an additional discount available. It's called the Federal Poverty Level Discount. It is the Form IB-12. It's located on our website. They can get 10 to 50% discount off their premiums if they fill this out. They can fill out this form, submit their federal tax income, and send it directly to accounting if they'd like. So this is going to be based off the total household income and size. There is a chart on our website, so they can go on there and see if they would qualify. But that is available. So just keep in mind, all discounts are prospective and can be earned on the first day of the following month that Thieves receives the missing information if you miss the deadline. So refunds are not given if you have not submitted your information in a timely manner, okay? So pay attention to all those deadlines. All right, so our standalone coverages. So this might be a slide that y'all want to take a picture of. We have the 2 dental plans available. So we have the Blue Cross Blue Shield Dental and then the Southland. Both of them cover your yearly cleanings at 100%. Both of them cost $15 a month for single coverage and $24 a month for family coverage. You will notice for Blue Cross Blue Shield Family, there is an orthodontic component to that one. So that is one of the main differences. So orthodontics are covered at 50% of the preferred dental fee, subject to a $25 annual deductible. So they pay out a lifetime max of $1,000, but that is for your dependent children, not for your teeth, for your dependent children if they're under the age of 19. So this will be good to show to your new hires if they're trying to decide which dental plan to choose. So our other standalone policies, we have the Southland Cancer's policy. This is a really unique policy. It has a no pre-existing condition limitation, which means if you have a family history of cancer, if you've had a cancer diagnosis in the past, if you currently have cancer, you can enroll in this policy. It's kind of unheard of in cancer world. It's going to pay regardless of any other coverage. It is also $15 a month for single coverage and $24 a month for family coverage. And then we have the Southland Vision policy. So this one I definitely recommend you go online, tell your new hires to go online and read about this policy, make sure it's going to be a good fit for them, because you are in these policies for a minimum of 12 months. So once you enroll in them, you cannot unenroll until the 12 months plus open enrollment. So the vision policy is going to provide either contacts or lenses and frames, but not both in any plan year. It does have $180 per eye benefit for refractive surgery. Again, it's $15 a month for single coverage and $24 a month for family coverage. So the good thing about these policies, these 2 in particular, is you can sign up for them at any point during the year. So if you get a cancer diagnosis, you can call us and get signed up for this policy. And it'll be effective the first day of the next month that you sign up for it. But you can't unenroll until a minimum of 12 months. And then we also have a Selman TRICARE supplement. So if you have any of your members that have TRICARE and they have a lot of medical expenses, this might be something they want to look into. It is voluntary insurance designed to supplement TRICARE. So it's to help with out-of-pocket costs for healthcare expenses. It works best with TRICARE Prime, Select, and Retired Reserve. So it is for military personnel who have TRICARE that are not active duty. They're not eligible for Medicare and are under the age of 65. This plan or this supplement does not work if you're over the age of 65. So it's a little more pricey. It's $60.50 for single coverage, $119.50 for children only or spouse only, and then $160.50 for family coverage. So if you have a lot of medical expenses and you have TRICARE, this would be a good plan for you. And this one you can sign up for at any point during the year, and it'll be effective the first day of the next month. Okay, so these are those free plans that I was talking about. So if you have an employee who already has health coverage and they're looking at declining all coverage, tell them not to. As Jeannie said yesterday, y'all will be the superheroes because you'll be able to save them some money. And that we all love saving money. And free stuff. Okay, so first we have the supplemental plan. So the goal of this plan is to eliminate your out-of-pocket costs when it comes to going to the doctor. So it's going to cover that copay when you go to the doctor. It's going to take care of those deductibles, so it doesn't like high deductible plans. If their deductible is higher than $3,300 for family coverage, this won't work for them since it does cover that deductible. All right, so no, it's increased. Okay, so now it's so for this plan, the deductible of the primary insurance must be less than $1,700 for single coverage and $3,400 for family coverage. So it has increased this year.
That's for January.
Okay, for January. So this plan, again, is free for single and family coverage. And, 2 government plans will fight to the finish on who pays for what. So this plan does not work with other government plans. So they have Medicare, PHIP, local government, TRICARE. This plan will not be a good fit for them. But we got 3 others that they can look at. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is the premium cash option. So this one is going to pay you for being on someone else's insurance. It's going to reimburse you up to $350 every single month, tax-free, to offset the cost of your primary health insurance. So say if your spouse is a teacher and they're on PHIP insurance, it'll cover that $307 monthly premium. It'll pay you to be on that health insurance. So it's like you have free coverage. So this is for only active employees can have this benefit. The reimbursement can be mailed directly to the member, or they can just direct deposit to their bank account. The account can be viewed, and you can make claims on the Optum Financial website or on the mobile app. Yes, ma'am. How often can you submit it? If they get paid twice a month and their insurance is taken out, typically insurance is taken out once a month.
You could probably do it with every paycheck. You could submit a claim reimbursement, but if you set up the recurring claim, which is the one that's automatic, then you just will get 2 check stubs. So if they get paid bi-weekly, you'll just get 2 check stubs for that 1 month of payment, and then you can submit the reimbursement. That's the easiest way to do it. But if you want to, of course, do it every 2 weeks, that's definitely your choice for sure.
Yes, so it will only pay up to $350. So you can do it twice a month if you prefer to do that. I typically tell people to wait till the end of that month and have both receipts available, so you can go ahead and submit it at one time and then set it up for reimbursement on a reoccurring basis. So that way you don't have to remember to do it every single month. You get money in your account. Okay, the next one that we have is the limited purpose HRA. And the good thing about this one is it is eligible for those who have other group or non-group health coverage. So if they do have Medicare, if they have TRICARE, this is a plan that they can enroll in. So this plan is set up a little bit differently. It's a health reimbursement arrangement. So it's going to reimburse the member up to $350 every single month that they can use towards eligible dental and vision expenses. So they can kind of think of it as like a savings account that they can use for braces or glasses or contacts or anything that's dental or vision related, this is a good little account for that. What is it, a yearly? How much can you earn per year?
$4,200.
So $4,200 a year. The state is just gonna be putting $350 in this account every single month. So that'll increase pretty quickly. So again, your reimbursement can be mailed directly to you, or you can just get it directly deposit into that savings account. Okay, last but not least, we have the optional plan. So again, this is going to be free for your members. It's going to be your 4-in-1 benefit. It's going to be free dental, vision, cancer, and hospital indemnity coverage all in one. And it's through Southland. So this coordinates with if you have other dental or vision insurance. Again, the cancer and hospital indemnity pays regardless of other coverage. The one caveat about this plan is it is a 12-month minimum enrollment for this one. So if members enroll in this, they are in it for 12 months minimum. All right, so that's all I have for our plan. Was there any other questions? I think we have Kelly coming up with Berta. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And there's the clicker.
Okay, well, the afternoon's going great because we're 7 minutes out of schedule. I was back there checking emails and wasn't even ready to come up. So, thank you. So, thank you for everyone who has stopped by the table to talk to Lisa and I. I am here to talk about one of my favorite benefits, Verta Health. I am biased because I do work for them. I came all the way from Pennsylvania, so I want to thank Alabama for the wonderful barbecue and the great hospitality. I've been down here 3 times this year, and it's quickly becoming one of my favorite states to visit. And it's not just because I got 200 inches of snow in my hometown last winter in the warm weather. But I'm going to talk to you about Verta, the diabetes reversal benefit that is available to all members who are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes or spouses on their health insurance plan through Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama. And I like to start with this testimonial because I think it's really a testament to anyone who is sitting here either as a type 2 diabetic or someone who is caring for a loved one or has heard stories through friends. It's not often that you hear them talk about decreasing their insulin or getting off insulin completely or losing weight or lowering their A1C to a healthy level. But with Verta, we can do that. And we have many, many testimonials from state employees and spouses who have been able to do that. So I just want you to know that we are here to help you to get this information out to the individuals you work with. So I am going to talk a little bit about how we do this because some of you might sitting there saying this is silly. There's no way that can happen because it's not common knowledge that type 2 diabetes can be reversed. So I am going to talk about how we do that. Before that, I just want to let you know, this is our website. So if you have one of the flyers that you got from our table, scan the QR code now. This is what you're going to see. And this is where you want to, encourage members to go visit, see if they're eligible and get enrolled today. And I tell people, if you're not eligible, visit the website because we have a ton of blogs and recipes and everything out there that can just help you make lifestyle changes because our whole program is nutritional based, changing what we eat, how we live to make these changes. So again, I am going to get into how we do this, but there's another very powerful slide I want to share with you because this is all stats from current state employees and spouses or dependents who are enrolled with Verta. They've lost a total of over 16,000 pounds. So 28 grizzly bears. If you've never seen a grizzly bear, they're huge. So it's a lot of mass that we've been able to help these people take off. There's an average A1C change of almost 1%. So again, that's taking people from that diabetic or pre-diabetic level down to where, they're at a healthy A1C level. We've been able to help eliminate 39% of medications 52% of those being insulin. And I'm not just talking about people decreasing insulin. 52% of these members have eliminated their need for insulin. And I think that's, something that was really powerful for these folks. And right now we're servicing over 1,100 members. And so there is a need here, and people are enrolling and they're seeing these health changes. Another thing I want to point out is that our focus is on type 2 diabetes and reversing that, but many people who have type 2 diabetes are suffering from other issues. Hinge Health talked a lot about the MSK pain. That's a component. Hypertension, the high blood pressure, mental health, depression. When you're not healthy, when you're not feeling good, you sometimes get depressed. I've heard a lot of people today talk about fatty liver disease. So 98% of people with type 2 diabetes are experiencing something else. And so when members are a part of VERTA, we might not be calling from the mountaintops that we're changing and reversing these ailments as well, some of these metabolic disorders, but we are, because it's not just the diabetes that are changing. These individuals are healthier, happier, they're feeling better, they're off their blood pressure medications and, others, along with reversing diabetes. Okay, so how do we do that? Because it seems a little bit too good to be true. This is all based, again, on nutritional therapy, and we're helping these individuals make lifestyle changes. And we know that's not easy. Whether your lifestyle changes to decrease coffee, to quit smoking, to run a marathon, if you're sitting there having tried something like this, it's hard and it takes the whole village to help these people. And that's how our program is set up. Every member has a care team, a dedicated health coach and a dedicated provider, and it's one and only. They don't have a different health coach every time they log into the app. There's not a different VERTA provider every time they log in. They have one dedicated to them from the start of their journey with VERTA. And I'll talk about this in a little bit later, but we don't take away the need for that individual to have their own PCP. We want that individual to keep a relationship with their own provider, but we work in conjunction with them. We may take over a lot of the diabetes piece of their health journey, but we work in conjunction with them. So there is no need for them to, kick their regular PCP to the curb. But I'll talk a little bit more about my care team in a little bit. But what we really focus on is supporting the biochemistry to eliminate those feelings of hunger. And we do that through encouraging people to eat differently. I'll talk about this in a little bit, but in the 80s, someone said, we're going to just tell people fat is bad. There was probably some studies, certain fats are not good, but making sure that you're eating the right kinds of fats, they're going to give that full feeling. Providing the support that they need, so that care team is going to be with them every step of the way. Every member gets a starter kit that includes a scale, it includes a glucometer, everything that they need to test their glucose, to monitor their glucose and their ketone levels and their weight. All that is given to them for free when they enroll in the program. So again, we are making sure we're watching their biomarkers. We're not just deprescribing insulin willy-nilly. We are making sure that the provider and the health coach is watching where they're at and doing so appropriately. And again, we're adapting nutrition for daily life. There's some of you sitting there that are caring for children and grandchildren, and you're running from activity to activity, and you don't have the ability to sit and make a home-cooked meal every day. You might be eating on the run at gas stations or at drive-thrus. That's okay. We'll work with that lifestyle. We have other people who love to cook. They want to be a gourmet chef. We'll help that lifestyle. We have people who are truck drivers and they're on the road and they're traveling and maybe they're at hotels every other night. Again, we will work with that lifestyle. Ethnically, religiously, if there are restrictions or dietary changes that someone follows, we'll work with those, because not all of us are the same person and not all of us are going to have the same nutritional needs. So the core principles of VERTA. So again, we meet the person where they are. It's a unique nutritional plan that's custom to them, but there are 5 things that stay the same for everyone. 1 is eat real foods, shop the perimeter of the grocery store, be reminded that fat is your friend, focusing on those healthy fats that help keep you full and keep you satisfied, that make foods taste really good, adding plants and protein to your diet. The lean proteins, the non-starchy vegetables, We have so many members that say, I didn't eat a single vegetable before starting Verta, and their health coaches help them learn to like vegetables and prepare them in a way that they like. And then my two favorites is getting to know your body again, meeting these individuals where their unique biochemistry is, because we're all different. Everything inside us is a little bit different in how we respond to different foods. And that is why it's so important for these members to be tracking their biomarkers and working with their health coach and their Verta provider. And then again, adjusting the plan for long-term success. What your today looks like might not be what it looks like in a week, 3 weeks, 3 months. So again, being able to work with that care team to adjust to what is going on in your life to help you stay on track. We also know that staying on track 100% of the time is not really realistic. Your care team is there to help you through the ups and downs of life. And so here is who that care team is. So every member has a Verta health coach and a Verta provider, and they have access to them through our app 24/7. Like I said yesterday, if you text your health coach at 4 a.m., they may not answer, but they will get back to you as quick as possible. And we've adapted some amazing AI where if they're, non-medical type questions that an AI individual can step in, they will help. I was looking at the snack machines outside the restrooms, and here's a great example, or even the snacks over on the table. Part of the app is you could take a picture of that table or a picture of that snack machine to see what's the best choice for me. And that's when AI on the app could step in and help you make the better choice, where the more in-depth medical question might be answered a couple hours later by your provider or health coach. But again, we work with a member's PCP, so they are not going anywhere. During the enrollment process, the member gives us the contact number for that PCP. We stay in contact with them through any sort of deprescriptions, or maybe there is a prescription that's added. They are part of this care team, but the nice thing is our care team is here every day, where a lot of people might not see their PCP but once or twice a year. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the member enrollment experience, the nutritional experience, and then the clinical experience. So once someone gets the marketing or enrollment, if you need more pieces of marketing, the trifolds, please talk to Lisa or myself before we leave, and we can get you that information. I'll give you Lisa's email address because we want to make sure you have all the tools to give out to your employees. After someone enrolls or applies, they're going to have an intro call with the clinical team. This is where we're going to go over the medical history. I talked to someone earlier where they have a spouse who has some additional ailments that we would want to make sure that we're taking into consideration when they are applying, to make sure that our team knows everything about the individual that's applying to give them the best care. Here's a snapshot of what the medical equipment and supplies look like. The lancets, the testing strips, you get them when you enroll, and then you get the supplies refilled at no charge throughout the duration of your membership with Verta. And then the guided educational curriculum. So there's everything within the app that you would need to help you on your journey for changing nutritionally. And here is a little more about that nutritional education. As a member first enrolls, they're going to talk about what is Verta. What's the big deal? Some of you may be sitting here knowing the difference between a carb and a fat and a protein. Others may be sitting there and not really understand what each of those means. And so we want to make sure that our members are educated and they're given all the tools that they need to know what they're doing and what they're consuming. There's e-learning content. And what I love about it, it's small digestible videos and clips. So it's not often you're going to get in there and have to watch a 20-minute video. But if you want to learn more about, I shop at Aldi's, what are the best things to buy? There's going to be a 2 to 3 minute video somewhere on the app that's going to focus on Aldi's or focus on Publix. I actually don't know the main grocery store down here. Publix? Okay, Publix. I lived in Florida, so that was my favorite. So anything that people may want is on the app. And again, the nutritional experience, they work day to day with their health coach to just really figure out what's best for them. One of my favorite examples is someone was like, oh my gosh, there's a potluck tonight for my son's hockey team. What do I eat there? What do I take? A health coach can step right in and help guide their members on situations like that. And then the ongoing support and resources, the app, the health coach, everything is there for these members every day. And then that clinical care piece, again, we're not replacing someone's PCP when it comes to their day-to-day care. We're just stepping in to help and take control of the diabetic part of the care. So then again, we're engaging to help with those nutritional changes. We're working with the health coach. They're logging those biomarkers. That's going to be really key to understanding when we're going to be deprescribing certain medications with that individual. So again, the health coach is going to help educate people on how to to log those biomarkers, and then the provider is going to keep track of them. And then all deprescriptions is going to be led by that Virta provider. And again, the Virta provider that's assigned to that member on day one is going to stay with them, so they know their history. So that in a nutshell is what Virta Health is and why we are here to help all of the people that work for the state of Alabama. But I just wanted to throw a few more testimonials up here. And my favorite is the first two, because they both say it's been a life changer. So there's not many programs out there that people can really say, wow, they're life changing. But we're able to help people just live better. The one on the bottom talks about, I have 11 grandchildren. I want to make sure I'm around for them for a healthy and long time. And that's really why we're here. So if you need more information about our program, if you need swag or flyers or anything for upcoming health fairs, please reach out to me, let me know. And then stop in the back. I can get you Lisa's information, because there's some really nice trifolds that we have that you can take back to the offices to give out. So with that said, any questions for me? Well, thank you very much. If you do, oh, yes. Great question. So right now the program is eligible for those who have a type 2 diagnosis or have an A1C of over 6.5. But what I tell people, if they're pre-diabetes or know it's in the family history, check out the website, because there's recipes, there's blogs. You wouldn't be enrolled as a full member, but there are at least some resources and tools made available to those individuals. And this is available for those who are 65 or under. So on the commercial Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama plan. Well, thank you very much. Come visit if you have additional questions.
Thank you so much, Kelly. All right. I think we're all getting tired this afternoon. Okay, so I'm Kristen. I'm back. And we are now going to shift to talking about Flex, if I can get there. Okay. So Flex benefit plan. So this is one of my favorite things about being a state employee. I like to call it, Jeannie and I like to call it magic money, even though it is your money, but it feels like magic because I never actually see it. So it's your money that comes out of your check pre-tax, so it's less money being reported to the IRS, and it helps save you on items that you were going to probably purchase anyway. So we have two different types of reimbursement accounts. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the healthcare reimbursement account. That's probably the one that we are all more used to using. So this is the one that has the card associated with it that you use when you go to the pharmacy. You can swipe it. At the doctor, you can use it to swipe and pay for your copay. And this is through Optum Financial. So, like I said, you can use it for copays, co-insurances, deductibles, and other eligible medical expenses. So the minimum that you can contribute to this is $120 a year. The maximum, it has increased by $100, is $3,300. And that's always set by the IRS, so it changes from year to year. We do have a rollover provision for those of you who have funds left over at the end of the year. You can roll over up to $660 from one year to the next. You do have to make sure you re-enroll to roll over those funds. Okay? If you don't re-enroll, you will lose that money in that account, and then we'll all be sad. So, y'all don't forget to tell your people that they have to re-enroll to be able to roll over those forms. So open enrollment is coming up. It's November 1st to the 30th that they need to get in those flex forms. So just remind all your people that they can continue to enroll online through their MySeed account through December 15th. And then Seed gives you $50 for free just for signing up. We love free money, right? Okay, so this is an example of someone that has an income of $43,000 a year, and they sign up for the HCRA savings account. So if you do pre-tax $2,000 out of your paycheck, it does save you around $450. So that's a great savings on medical expenses that you're probably going to purchase anyway. All right, and so the next reimbursement account that we have, that is the dependent care reimbursement account. Now this one works a little bit differently. It does not have a card associated with it. So it comes out of two pockets. It's going to come out of your paycheck, and then you also have to pay the daycare provider. So that's something you have to keep in mind. At the end of the month, when services are rendered, you would take your receipt and you would submit that to Optum Financial, and then they will reimburse you at the end of the month. At the beginning of the month, it's coming out of two pockets. So the maximum has increased this year to $7,500. So that's it used to be $5,000 family max, but now it's $7,500. So it doesn't matter how many kids you have, it's $7,500 per family. So you just have to submit those receipts, and you can have those reimbursements mailed directly to you or just get a direct deposit to your bank account. And this is for child or adult daycare, if y'all didn't know that. That's something available for adult daycare as well. So math is hard. This is, again, another $43,000 salary. And if you would have done the max last year of $5,000, it saves you about $1,000. So I know in my house, every penny counts. I have two littles in daycare, so we definitely take advantage of this. And $1,000 in savings on something I was going to pay for anyway is a huge help to us. So just a little review. The HCRA health, the health savings account, that one is the one that has the card associated with it. It's Optum Financial. It looks like that. You can get those reimbursements mailed to you, direct deposit it. It's got a Flex card. The DCRA, you have to do manual reimbursement. So reimbursements, you can do that either online on their website, or they do have a nice app that you can submit your receipts to. Just make sure to keep up with all your receipts for medical expenses and daycare expenses so you can send that in to them. All right. Is there any questions about Flex? Nope. Y'all ready for Jeffrey?
There we are.
All right. Well, we've got Jeffrey coming up, and he's going to talk to us about our retirement. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeffrey Morris. I'm a field services representative with the Retirement Systems of Alabama, and I'm going to go over the retirement benefits that you all have available to you and might be advising new employees about as they are onboarded into your agency. First, I'm going to start by saying you can always reach out to RSA, and we would prefer that you do so if you have any questions regarding retirement benefits. There are a lot of different sources of information. Not all of them are accurate, but when you come to RSA, you are getting it straight from the horse's mouth. So you have several different places that you can get this information from RSA. You can go to our website, rsa-al.gov. You can also give us a call. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, our phone lines are open. We are speaking with members who call in all the time. Or maybe you just want to come and sit down face to face and speak with somebody. You can do that. Our counselors are meeting with people as they come into the office every day. Now, we also have your member online services portal. quick show of hands, who all has set up that member online services account? I love to see that number of hands. Everybody should go and do this. So if you have not yet done it, do so as soon as possible. Many of you probably remember receiving paper statements in the mail when you first became employed in the system. We stopped mailing those in 2019, but we are still preparing those every year. They are just being posted to your member online services account. Now that annual statement is going to show you your years of service on file and your current salary records for the past 10 years that we have. Those two numbers play a part in how much you receive as a retirement benefit. So if there are any discrepancies with that information, we need to know about that as soon as possible. So please, if you have not set up that account, go and do so as soon as possible and take a look at that annual statement so that you can make sure that that information is correct. You can also use that online account to sign up for one of the various seminars that we offer all across the state, all throughout the year. You can use it to change your address or send us messages or upload documents that you might want us to review. You can also use it to start an RSA-1 account, or if you would like to change your investments in RSA-1, you can use that member online services portal. Lastly, you can use that portal to check and see who your beneficiary is. I need to stress how important it is to stay on top of that beneficiary. Alabama is not a state where your spouse is automatically entitled to any survivor benefits. We are required by the law to pay whoever you have named on that piece of paper. And we still make a lot of ex-spouses happy every single year. Not just because somebody went and died, but 15, 20, or 30 years ago, they forgot to update that beneficiary. It does not matter if you remarry and if you have children with that new spouse. If the ex is still listed on that piece of paper with us, they're getting whatever is entitled to them. We can't change that after you're gone. We don't have anything to do with that after you're gone, but you can change that, of course, while you're still alive. So make sure that you are staying on top of that beneficiary. And lastly, we do still send out that newsletter every month. That newsletter is going to be usually the first place we try to inform you about changes coming to the benefit. So if we are making a change on our end, maybe the state legislature is talking about a bill, or maybe something is coming down from the federal level, we're going to talk about that using that advisor newsletter. It's also where you can find those great hotel discounts at the various Marriott properties RSA owns across the state. Now, you all are participants of the employees' retirement systems. Now, I may have a few people in the audience here today who are part of TRS. Much of this is going to be the same. I will mention a few differences as they come up. But ERS or TRS, they are both defined benefit plans. Now, a defined benefit plan, or 401A as an alpha, is different from a 401k in that 401k account balances typically do run out in a person's retirement. They draw on that balance they have until it reaches zero, and then after that point, they just don't have any more money. 401A, defined benefit, you are going to receive a check from us every month in retirement for the rest of your life. It does not matter how long you actually live into retirement. We have retirees who have been retired for over 50 years, and we have paid them every single month for those 50 years. And we will do the same thing for you. Depending on which retirement benefit you choose, that payment can continue on for the rest of another individual's life. Now, we're all required to participate in this plan. If you are a permanent, more than half-time employee, you are required to pay into the retirement systems. And there are currently two tiers. We are going to talk about the differences between the two tiers. But regardless of your tier status, everybody is vested with 10 years of service. So you just have to have 10 years of service in the system in order to be eligible to start drawing this lifetime benefit at some point in your life. We use a formula to calculate what that benefit is going to be. It is not based on RSA investment performance. So if our investment portfolio has a downturn 1 month, that's not going to reflect on your retirement check. We are obligated to pay you that same amount as determined by the formula for the rest of your life. Now, Tier 1 versus Tier 2. You are a Tier 1 employee if you started making your contributions to RSA before January 1st of 2013. Tier 1 members are eligible to retire with at least 10 years of service at age 60. So as long as you are vested under Tier 1, you can retire at age 60. Alternatively, Tier 1 members are also eligible to retire with 25 years of service at any age. And I'm sure some of you all know individuals who were able to retire in their mid to late 40s because they started out either right out of high school or right out of college and got those 25 years into the system and were able to start drawing that benefit. Now, I don't know how they were able to do that and pay for the health insurance because I know how much going out at 43 or 44 increases the health insurance, but just know that you can do that as long as you have at least 25 years in. Now, Tier 2, we started making our contributions on or after January 1st of 2013. Tier 2 employees, we can retire at age 62 as long as we are vested, or age 56 if you meet certain employment classifications. Typically, it's going to be FLC members, so firefighters, police officers, correctional officers, or emergency support personnel individuals. They can retire at age 56 with at least 10 years. The state legislature also recently added a 30-year retirement to the Tier 2 plan back in 2022. So now Tier 2 employees are eligible to retire at any age as long as they have at least 30 years of service. Now, when the state legislature did that, they did add a bit of a caveat to that 30-year retirement. That caveat is a 2% permanent reduction to the lifetime benefit for each year the retiree is under age 62 or 56 if they're FLC. So if you're going out any earlier than your full retirement age, there's going to be a 2% reduction per year you are under that age, and that is a permanent reduction. So I'll use myself as an example. I started when I was 54, and believe it or not, the HR person who did my paperwork is in the audience today. I started when I was 24. I'll be 54 when I'm eligible to retire. But I'll be 8 years away from 62. Would be a 16% permanent reduction to my lifetime benefit. I'm certainly hopeful that they do remove that reduction at some point. I think you can understand why. But a lot of people don't know about this because it has been so long since it actually occurred. When the 25-year retirement was introduced back in the 1980s, there was actually a reduction if you were going out with any less than 30 years. But the state legislature removed that reduction after a few years because they were seeing some issues with employee retention and hiring. So I'm certainly hopeful that they do the same thing for the 30-year retirement. Not that I'm going anywhere, but just for retention and hiring. Now, you are all required to pay into this benefit. I'm sure you all wonder where your paycheck goes every month because it certainly seems not all of it goes to your bank account. Well, we're getting a portion of it every pay period. Depending on your tier status, you are paying in a certain percentage of your salary every pay period. For Tier 1, it is 7.5% or 8.5% for our FLC employees and members. For Tier 2, it is 6% or 7% for those FLC members. If you're Tier 2 under TRS, you are paying 6.2%. Now that goes into our account balance. Our account balance builds up interest over the course of our careers, and when we retire, that account balance is used to help fund our retirement benefit. They're going to take a little bit of what we paid in, and then the rest that they take comes from what our employer has paid in. Because the employer, of course, is also paying in on our behalf. But what they pay in does not go into our account balances. It goes into the general funds, either ERS general fund or the teacher's general fund. For 2025, the employer rate for Tier 1 is 17.34%. For Tier 2, it is 17.08%. If you're with a TRS unit, that's going to be a little over 14% for Tier 1 and a little over 13% for Tier 2. But those are going to be the majority of our retirement benefits, is what the employer has paid in. Now, this is the retirement formula. If you've ever wondered how we calculate this benefit, this is actually what we're going to look at when that time comes. The first part of the formula is your average final salary. When we look at your average final salary, we are going to look at the last 10 years of service. For Tier 1, we're going to pull the highest 3 years. For Tier 2, we pull the highest 5 years out of those last 10 years of service. But we're going to pull those highest years of salary. They don't have to be consecutive, but typically for state employees, they will be consecutive. We do count a certain percentage of overtime if you are eligible to be paid for any overtime work, and we also count it if you work 2 jobs within the system. So maybe you work full-time for DHR, but then you also work on a part-time basis for the city of Montgomery. We would count that part-time employment for the city of Montgomery. We average that final salary out, and then we're going to multiply that by your years and your months of service credit. Now, this part is pretty straightforward. Just however many years of service you have at retirement, that's what we're putting in the formula. So if you have 25 years, we're putting 25 there. If you have 25 years and 6 months, well, we'll turn those months into a decimal, so it would be 25.5. The next part of the formula is your benefit factor. Your benefit factor is set by your tier. These numbers were determined by the legislature when the tiers, or when each tier plan was created. For Tier 1, it is 2 1/80%. For Tier 2, it is 1.65%. So multiplying those 3 numbers together gets you your maximum annual salary. Dividing that by 12 gets you your maximum monthly benefit that you are eligible to receive from RSA. That is the most we're eligible to pay you on a monthly basis. All the other benefits are going to be reduced from that maximum. Now, on that member online services portal, there is a calculator that you can use to see what these numbers might look like for you. We have your information on file, your years of service, your average final salary. We can use that calculator to put those numbers out. It'll take into account whoever you have listed as your beneficiary right now, but you can play with those beneficiaries if you would like to. You can also project different retirement dates. So you can say, I want to see what my benefit would be like at my earliest possible retirement date, or 30 years from now, or at this age. You can also see and project salary raises. So if you know you're going to get a 4% raise every year, well, you can go in and put that into the calculator. Now, as you saw in that formula, your years and months of service credit play a big part in how much you're going to receive as your retirement benefit. Typically, the longer that you work, the more your benefit is going to be. As long as you come into work and do your job and get paid, you are building up service credit with the retirement systems. You get that paycheck, we have received that remission off of that paycheck, and you are going to have that service credit counted towards your overall amount. But if you ever have to take a leave of absence without pay, if you're not getting paid, we don't receive the remission off of that paycheck. So you do not earn service credit if you are on leave without pay. A friend of mine is a university professor over at Auburn University. Back in 2023, he took 6 months off to hike the Appalachian Trail. He started in March and he was able to complete it by the end of September. Of course, Auburn University is not going to pay him to go and walk in the woods. So he set back his earliest possible retirement date by those 6 months. Now, we do have some types of purchasable service credit. This is service credit that you can buy to increase your overall years in the system. There are lots of different types. They're all discussed in the member handbook. And if you think you are eligible to purchase some service credit, reach out to us and we can tell you what we need to calculate that cost. Our most common type that we see is withdrawn service, where we have an individual, we have a member who started their career early on, maybe when they were 19, 20, 22 years old, somewhere in that ballpark, and they left that job at some point, and when they left, they took the money that they had contributed to the system out. When you take your money out of the system after you separate service, you forfeit the service credit that is attached to it. You don't get to have the cake and eat it too. So you forfeit that service credit if you take that account balance out. But you are eligible to buy that withdrawn time back into the system. Once you've been employed with one of our member agencies for a period of 2 years, we will send you a letter notifying you that you are now eligible to buy your withdrawn time. And then you can request that cost letter at any point. The cost is based on how much money you received when that account was liquidated, plus 8% compounding interest annually from the date that you took it out. So the longer you wait to purchase withdrawn service, the more it is going to cost, but it is typically our most cost-effective type of service to purchase. Because again, we're just looking at how much money you got when you took it out, plus the compounding interest annually. We also offer military service. For members who have previously had active duty military service and are not eligible to receive a retirement pension for that military service, those members can purchase up to 4 years of that active duty military service as ERS service credit. Now, the cheapest time to ever buy this is in the first year of employment. In the first year of employment, we price military service based on 4% of the average state employee's salary during the years of the military service, plus 8% compounding interest annually from the date of that service. You only have 1 year to buy it at that rate. After that year passes, you are not eligible to buy military service until you are vested with 10 years. And at that point, we are going to price it actuarially. So we're going to look at how much you are currently making at your job, how close it puts you to retirement eligibility. If it is going to trigger your retirement eligibility, the cost is going to be even greater. So it is always better to buy that military service in the first year. We do also offer Noble Eagle service for our Guard and reservists whose units get activated and they have to take that leave of absence without pay to go on deployment. They are able to buy that time that they were out on leave as if they never left. They just have a limited amount of time to purchase it. It is 3 times the length of the deployment, no longer than a period of 5 years. But they would just pay in the contributions they would have made during that time. Out-of-state public service is another option that is available for people who have come from another state and have time with that state's public pension plan. That time can be moved over here to Alabama. You do have to be vested in order to purchase this, which means you have to have those 10 years, and you're also going to be required to forfeit any benefit that it would be eligible for in that other state. This is also priced actuarially. So we're going to, again, look at how much you're currently making, how close it gets you to retirement, and if it triggers retirement eligibility, it will cost more. To give you an example, we did have a university professor who wanted to buy 2 years that she had from another state's public pension plan. She was at year 23, so buying those 2 years would make her retirement eligible. She wrote us a check for $63,000. There's no obligation to ever buy any of this time. Even if we prepare a cost letter for you, you're under no obligation to purchase it. Just know that there's a limited amount of time that you can buy it at the rate that we quote you before we have to add additional interest. We do also offer maternity leave without pay as an option. Hopefully we don't see this going forward as we now have paid parental leave. But if there is ever a reason where you have to be on leave without pay due to any sort of parental leave, that time can be purchased back in, but there is a limited amount of time to buy that back. Sick leave conversion. This is an option for Tier 1 members only. If you're a TRS member, this is available to Tier 1 and Tier 2, but for ERS members, it is a Tier 1 benefit only. When you retire, in lieu of taking the payout that state personnel will give you for your unused sick leave, you can convert that into additional service credit. This can help you reach retirement eligibility. So if you are at year 24 and 6 months and you've got 6 months of sick leave built up and you just don't want to come back for the remaining 6 months, you could go ahead and fill out the retirement application and convert those additional months of sick leave into the service credit you need to have 25 and go ahead and start drawing the benefit. But it is a one or the other choice. You can either convert it or you can get paid for it. Applying for retirement. You all know that it's not HR's responsibility to let us know that somebody's retiring. It's the individual's responsibility to fill out this paperwork. So if they come to you and say, hey, can you just send this to RSA? I'm going to go ahead and retire. Well, that's up to you whether or not you want to do that. But it ultimately is going to be the individual's responsibility to get this paperwork into us. You can begin the retirement process 30 to 90 days before your effective retirement date. And for RSA purposes, everybody retires on the first of the month. So if somebody wanted to submit an application for a November 1st retirement date, this would be the absolute last day that we could take that form. If they try to turn it in tomorrow, it's too late. We're already within the 30 days. We would push that back to December 1st. Part 1 of the retirement application is going to ask you to designate your beneficiary for any death benefit your retirement option leaves behind. You can keep who you have, you can name somebody else, you can narrow it down to 1 or 2 individuals, but we just need you to recertify that. It's also going to ask you to set up direct deposit authorization so we can pay that check directly to your bank account each month. And you will have the option to indicate whether or not you wish to continue your SCIB health insurance at retirement. Now, of course, you can always come back during their open enrollment, or if you have a qualifying life event that would allow you to come back. But this is just that initial opportunity to let them know you wish to continue that coverage. And if you do, you will authorize us to deduct that monthly premium from your retirement check. You mail in Part 1 to us, we will then send you Part 2. Part 2 is going to break down what you are eligible to receive under each of our 4 different options. And you will select which option you would like to receive. You'll also designate your federal income tax withholding. Now in Alabama, that is the only tax that you pay on your retirement benefit. It is not subject to Alabama state income tax. It is not subject to FICA. And it is no longer subject to retirement contributions. So it will just be that federal income tax. And of course, if you wish to continue your SCIB insurance as a retiree, that would be deducted from your retirement benefit as well. We have to have Part 2. You have to mail it in at least before your retirement date. As long as it's postmarked before that retirement date, we'll still accept it. But if it's postmarked after that retirement date, you are still retired. But by law, we are required to assign you the maximum monthly benefit as your retirement option. Once you are retired, you cannot change that benefit selection. So you would be locked into the maximum monthly benefit. So please get that paperwork in on time. Now, the 4 different options, the maximum and option 1, 2, and 3. Each one of these pays you a lifetime monthly benefit. So you are going to receive that lifetime check regardless of which of these options you choose. But your choice of option is going to impact what you leave behind to another individual after you are gone. The maximum pays you the most. That's what that formula puts out, your maximum monthly benefit based on your average final salary, your years of service, and your tier. But if you select the maximum, just understand that you're not leaving behind very much to a beneficiary. In fact, the only thing that we pay out to a beneficiary under the maximum is one check of your monthly amount, one last check, prorated for the number of days you actually lived into that last month of life. So if I were to pass away on November 15th, I only lived halfway through November, so my beneficiary would receive a check for 50% of whatever my monthly benefit was. And then all benefits cease. Nothing else is paid out past that one last monthly check. Option 1. In order to choose option 1, you do take a reduction from the maximum. I've seen it to be as little as $5. I've never seen it be more than $50. But in exchange for that reduction, when you pass away, your beneficiary is entitled to the remainder of your account balance as a lump sum payment. So that's everything that you paid into the system and the interest that it has earned. That would be paid out as a lump sum payment to your beneficiary. Now keep in mind, we are using that account balance to help pay your retirement benefit. So it is going to deplete. The longer you live into retirement, the less there's going to be left in there. Eventually it does reach zero. You live long enough into retirement and it reaches zero, your monthly check does not change. You are still going to receive the amount that was determined when we first ran these numbers for you. It's just past that point, we have nothing left to pay out to that beneficiary. All they would receive is that last monthly check for your final month of life, prorated for the number of days you lived. Now with the maximum in option 1, you can change your beneficiaries at any time. You can also have multiple beneficiaries. We can split that final payment equally among them. But with option 2 and option 3, there's only one beneficiary on file. Only one person if you wish to choose option 2 or option 3 as your retirement benefit. It has to be a person with a date of birth. It can't be a charitable organization or anything like that. And you cannot change that beneficiary that you designate under option 2 or option 3, except in 2 cases. They predecease you or you divorce them. And we're just going to do a quick Law 101 on who you can divorce. Spouse. Can't divorce mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, best friend, cousin, children. Can't divorce your fiance that you don't marry. Real situations that we at the retirement systems have had to deal with. Just a few years ago, we had somebody come in very upset because things had gone south between him and his ex-fiance, and he had designated her as his option 2 beneficiary. And he wanted to change that. He wanted to come in and name a younger family member. And we said, okay, well, we can certainly do that. We just need a copy of the divorce papers. And he said, no divorce papers. I don't want her getting any more of my money than she probably has already taken from me. I don't want to, put it into illegal writing anywhere. And we said, well, okay, well, unfortunately, if you don't marry her, you can't divorce her. And so, right now you can't change her as your beneficiary. And he thought real quiet for a couple minutes. And he said, you're telling me the only way I can change her is I have to go out and kill her? No, that is not what we're saying. We will not testify in court on your behalf. But death or divorce are the only ways to change that beneficiary, and you can only divorce a spouse. You can name whoever you want, but if it's not a spouse, they are going to have to predecease you in order for you to name another individual for option 2 or option 3. Now, option 2. In order for you to select option 2, you are going to take a reduction in your benefit from the maximum. That reduction is based on your age and your beneficiary's age and the difference between those two. The younger that person is, the larger the reduction is going to be. But in exchange for that reduction, when you pass away, that beneficiary is going to continue to receive 100% of what you were getting for the rest of his or her life. It does not matter how long they actually outlive you. They could outlive you by 60 years. We will pay them every month for those 60 years. Option 3 is a 50% survivor benefit. There will still be a reduction based on your age and your beneficiary's age. The reduction is not as significant, but when you pass away, that individual will continue to receive 50% of what you were getting for the rest of his or her life. So we've got an example here. Our member is 63. Her beneficiary is 59 years old. She has 28 years and 7 months of service credit. Her average final salary is $60,000, and her account balance is $77,000. For Tier 1, her maximum monthly benefit is $2,876. For Tier 2, it's going to be $2,358. She receives that same amount every month for the rest of her life, but when she passes away, her beneficiary just gets that one last check for that final month, prorated for the number of days she lived into that month. Option 1. Under either tier, her benefit only goes down by about $30. It's not too bad of a reduction, and when she passes away, whatever is left of that $77,000 is paid out as a lump sum to her beneficiary. Could be $10,000, could be $50,000. But then we go down to option 2. Option 2, she takes a pretty sizable reduction from her monthly benefit. For Tier 1, it goes down to $2,457. For Tier 2, it goes down to $2,014. But when she passes away, her beneficiary is going to continue to receive that same amount for the rest of his life. Option 3, it's not as big of a reduction compared to option 2, still pretty decent, but her beneficiary is only getting half of what she was receiving. But regardless of which choice she makes, she is going to receive a lifetime monthly check in retirement. We do have a disability retirement with RSA. Some people are not aware of this, but we're trying to raise that awareness. Some people are not medically able to finish out a career. It is not the same as Social Security disability. You can be approved for one and denied for the other. They have no bearing on each other whatsoever. First rule for RSA disability, you do have to be vested. So you have to have at least 10 years in the system in order to apply for RSA disability retirement. Second rule, you still have to be in service when you send in that application. If you quit your job and then apply for RSA disability, we don't even look past the first page of that application. It is automatically denied. You have to be in service when you submit that RSA disability application. Now, you can be on a leave of absence for a period of up to 2 years. You can be on FMLA or burning through your sick leave. You can even be on modified duty if that is what is necessary to keep you in service. But if you quit your job, it's an automatic denial. Third rule, your doctor needs to verify that you can no longer perform the functions of your job based on that disability. So if you can no longer do your job based on that disability and you meet these other 2 requirements, our disability board, they meet once a month, and if everything makes sense to them, they'll approve that application. It's going to be calculated as if you had applied for a normal retirement with whatever your years of service were at the time of application and whatever your average final salary was. We are not going to fill in missing years like Social Security will. So if you're only at year 12 and your average final salary is only $50,000, then that's what we're going to put into that formula. You also don't get to convert your sick leave if you're going out on disability, unless you were already eligible for a service retirement. Now, a recent addition to the plan is the partial lump sum option payment, or otherwise known as PLOP. Yeah, fun word to say. This was introduced in 2019. In exchange for permanently reducing your lifetime monthly benefit, you can take a partial lump sum payment of that benefit up front at the beginning of retirement. Now, that payment can be from 1 month up to 24 months of your maximum monthly benefit. It isn't done in increments of $1,000. We are required to withhold 20% of that payment to cover your federal income tax liability, unless you are going to defer it into a qualified deferred savings plan. You also don't get to take this payment if you're going out on disability, unless you are already eligible for a service retirement. So our example from earlier, let's just take a quick look at what a plot payment does to her benefit. For a 1 month payment, we're going to round it up to the nearest $1,000. So she can get $3,000 for that 1 month plot payment, and it only drops her monthly retirement check by about $25. Maybe she wants to take a cruise to kickstart retirement, and that $25 a month for the rest of her life would be worth it for her. But let's say she wants to take the full 24 months. Anything past the 1 month, we round it down to the nearest $1,000. So she can get $69,000 if she wants to take the full 24-month plot payment. And it drops her check all the way down to $2,311 for that maximum monthly benefit. Remember, that reduction sticks with you for the rest of your life. So she's going to have to live with that for however long she lives into retirement. If you are taking option 1 and also considering the plot payment, just understand that that lump sum is coming out of your account balance. So it is going to reduce the amount of time it takes us to pay out the remainder. If you take option 2 or option 3, whatever your benefit is reduced by is going to carry over to that beneficiary after you are gone. There are great reasons to take the plot payment, but going out and buying a new bass boat is probably not one of them, because that's an investment that's just going to lose money. But if you're going to go and reinvest it somewhere in an investment fund, or maybe you want to pay off debt, maybe you want to start a new business, those are some good reasons. You can request these numbers at retirement. There's no obligation to take the plot payment if we run those numbers for you. Pre-retirement death benefit, because the unfortunate reality is we don't all live to see that retirement date. Things happen, we don't make it. We want you to be aware that RSA is not going to keep all of your money if you pass away while you're still working. Depending on your proximity to retirement and age and various other factors, your beneficiary will be entitled to a pre-retirement death benefit. For pretty much everybody in this room, that is going to include your entire ERS account balance with all the interest that it has earned, plus 1 year of your salary, tax-free, based on the last completed fiscal year. That is paid out as a lump sum to your beneficiary. If you're under TRS, it's going to be based on the scholastic year, that 1 year salary. Now, if you are eligible to retire, but you pass away while you're still working, and you only had one beneficiary on file, we will offer that one beneficiary a choice between the lump sum or one of the lifetime survivor benefits. If it's a spousal beneficiary, we offer them the option 2 100%. If it's a non-spousal beneficiary, we offer them the option 3 50% benefit. And don't worry, I'm not going to call all of your beneficiaries and let them know there's a sizable lump sum to be had if something were to happen to you. We notify those beneficiaries after we have received the verification from Vital Statistics confirming your passing. Coming back to work after you retire, because that's what you all want to do, right? Well, maybe not right now, but maybe you might consider it in the future. First, I want to say this. If you are going back to work in the private sector, or you are moving out of state to work, or going to work under the federal system, we have no control or oversight on that. You can make $1 million working as a greeter at Walmart. We're not going to care. Call me though, I'll work the night shift for that. We only care if you are coming back to work under one of our agencies, under our umbrella, either under the employee's retirement, teacher's retirement, judicial retirement, any of those. At that point, if you want to still receive your benefit but work for one of our agencies, you have to follow 3 rules. First rule, you have to be out of work for 30 days. That 30 days is based on your effective retirement date. So if your last day in the office might be May 15th, you still don't retire until June 1st, so you can't come back until July 1st. Second rule, you have to be part-time. You have to be part-time in order for you to come back to work under one of our participating agencies. Now, part-time, in this regard, it's going to be determined by the employer. Fortunately, the state personnel office does have the retired state employee classification, and they do a pretty good job about looking at those hours. But you and that employer are going to need to discuss what part-time is going to be for you. But it's anything less than full-time for the position that you're going back to work for. Third rule, there's an earnings limitation. This is set by the Consumer Price Index, so it is subject to change on a yearly basis. It typically goes up. This year, it is $39,000. It is prorated in the first year of your retirement. So if you retire in the middle of the year, you don't get to make the full $39,000. You get to make half of that amount. If you retire in September, you would only be able to make a quarter of that amount. Now we're going to talk about RSA-1, which is the other deferred compensation plan that you have available to you. Now this one is managed by RSA, so we are all state employees who are working for this plan, and our plan does not charge any fees. There are no fees involved with RSA-1. Again, we're all state employees, so we are not allowed to charge any fees for you to participate in this. And just to touch on what was mentioned earlier, you do want to set additional monies aside. Most financial advisors are going to recommend having at least 3 sources of income in retirement, and they typically need to try and add up to be around 85% of your pre-retirement salary. Now, your ERS benefit will usually make up the lion's share of that. And it's typically going to replace between 30 to 60% of whatever that pre-retirement salary was, just based on your years of service in the system and your tier. Then there's whatever Social Security is going to pay you. We just can't really rely on that like previous generations of Social Security recipients have. And so that's why having our own personal savings is going to be so much more important. Now, with RSA-1, we do have 2 savings accounts available. We have our RSA-1 pre-tax. This was the account that we had for years and years and years. The only option that we had available was the pre-tax account, which allows you to make those payroll deducted contributions pre-tax. So it comes out of your check before state or federal income tax, so it also is going to lower what you pay on those taxes. And it'll be growing tax deferred in that account until you actually start taking those distributions. But we do now also offer a Roth account with RSA-1. So we do have a Roth option available with RSA-1. It allows you to make those payroll deducted contributions after tax. So you go ahead and pay the taxes at today's tax rate, and once you are able to start taking qualified distributions in retirement, that money will be considered tax-free. Doesn't matter how much interest has actually grown on it, it would not be taxable once it's qualified or once you reach that qualified distribution point. Now with RSA-1, we do only have 3 different investment choices. We only offer 3 because this plan is available to all of our public agencies here in Alabama, and not all of those employees are necessarily investment savvy, and so we just try to limit that choice so that there's not too much overload and individuals suffer what's called decision paralysis, where when presented with multiple different options, they don't know what's right for them, and so they just choose not to make any choice at all. Our first option there is our fixed income fund, also called the bond fund, because it is majority invested in government and corporate bonds. This is sort of your middle of the road risk option Average rate of return over the past 10 years has been around 3 to 4%. So it's had some highs, it's also had some lows, but it's not necessarily as volatile on a monthly or even a yearly basis as our equity fund. Now, the equity fund is a stock fund invested in the S&P 500, so it's going to track what the S&P does pretty closely. Average rate of return for us over the past 10 years has been a little over 12%. Last year, it was over 36%, so it was pretty good last year. I wouldn't hold that to be the standard. That wasn't just an exceptional year, but 12% has been the 10-year average. Then we have our short-term investment option, which is our safest option, not nearly as volatile as the other two. Since we established that fund over 10 years ago, we have never had a loss. Now, you're not necessarily going to get rich off of it because the average rate of return is typically only around 1.5%, but it is incredibly stable. Again, we've never had a loss. It's our most popular fund amongst our soon-to-be and current retirees. You can be invested in 1, 2, or all 3 of those funds, whatever is right for you. And you can also change how your existing account balances are invested on a monthly basis. You don't actually have to determine the composition of those investment funds. We at RSA are going to handle that for you. And when I say we, I don't mean me. I wish I had the knowledge to be working upstairs with Dr. Bronner and our 13 chartered financial analysts. Who knows, maybe one day. But that's who actually determines the composition of our investment funds. It's Dr. Bronner, our CEO of over 50 years, and our 13 chartered financial analysts. It's the same investment team that handles the ERS retirement investment funds. They're going to work just as hard to make sure that the monies you put into RSA 1 are growing. And if the market is doing poorly, then they're going to do their best to try and minimize those losses while also anticipating the turnaround so that when the market starts gaining again, you're able to take advantage of that. Contributions. There is no minimum with RSA 1. You could be doing $5 or $10 a pay period, whatever is right for you. You can increase or decrease those deferrals at any time, or if you need to stop or restart them, and you can do any combination of pre-tax and after-tax contributions up to the maximum contribution limits for the year. Again, just hitting on what was mentioned earlier, if you're under age 50, that's going to be $23,500. If you're over age 50, then you go up to the $31,000 amount. If you're between the ages of 60 to 63, you can do the $34,750. And if you want to take advantage of our special catch-up provision as you near retirement, you can do twice the under 50 limit or $47,000 for the year of 2025. Now, when I first started with the state a little over 6 years ago, I started about $25 a pay period. Because I looked at my first paycheck, and after I got over the sticker shock of how much was already taken out of my paycheck, I said, okay, let's review this budget. And I realized that I was going to Starbucks about 3 times a week. And it eats up a lot of money. And I thought about it and was like, I can make a pretty decent cup of coffee. So let me just go buy a can of Folgers, a little coffee pot. Maybe I can put some Coffee Mate at the refrigerator in the office. Hopefully they don't throw it away every month. Yeah. And tomorrow, yep. And I started doing that. And the money that I was spending at Starbucks, I went ahead and put that into RSA 1, about $25 a pay period. And after a few pay periods, I said, okay, I've been able to do this. Let's see what else I'm spending that maybe I could cut back on. And I realized that I was also going out to eat for lunch pretty often. And I started cutting back on that by bringing my lunch to work or going home to eat my lunch with some leftovers that I might have had at the office. And I put that money that I was spending away into RSA 1. And then I hit the 6-month period where I was coming off probation and I was going to get that 2-step raise. And I realized that over that past 6 months, I was able to live off of what I was making and what I was deferring. So I did not need that raise yet. So what I did was I went ahead and just deferred that entire amount that my salary was going to increase by into RSA 1. And I have done that Just about every raise since now, not the entire amount. I certainly could not live off of what I was making when I first started out 6 years ago. But every raise, $15 to $25 of that raise has gone into my RSA1 contributions. My HR people that at RSA, they know when it comes time for me to get that two-step, I'm bringing the paper into them to increase that RSA1 contribution amount. But I've done that every single pay period since. When I paid off my last car, my 2010 Jeep Patriot, normally I'm driving a state car. Today I got to drive my own car. They were gracious enough to let me do that today. And I don't put a whole lot of miles on it. And it's going to last me for a pretty long time. It's only got about 60,000 miles right now. I'm going to keep the oil change, going to keep the tires good so that it lasts me for a while and I don't have to jump into a new car payment. So that old car payment that I was making, that's going into RSA1. When I pay off my home, in 27 years and 2 months now, who's counting? That mortgage payment is something that I can defer into RSA1 because by that point, once I finish my mortgage payment, it's no longer able to be claimed on my taxes. So I'm going to be looking for additional tax breaks at that point. So throughout my career, I've looked for these different opportunities, whether it's financial milestones or career milestones, where I've increased my contributions to RSA1. I'm saving a whole lot more now than I ever was at the very beginning. Transfers. We do accept transfers from other 457B accounts. So if you do have another 457B and you want to maybe take advantage of what RSA1 offers with our investment expertise and our no-fee structure, you can move those monies from other 457s into our plan. We just ask that you set up your RSA1 account prior to initiating that transfer. And we also advise you that you speak with that other plan prior to initiating the transfer just to make sure that they don't have any additional paperwork that you need to fill out. But we will happily accept those monies. They will be invested into RSA1 separately from any deferrals that you've made into RSA1. The payout for your unused annual and sick leave. If you are choosing to take that sick leave payout, and you're, of course, getting that annual leave payout, just know that that can also be deferred into RSA1. So you can have that put into RSA1. It can go into either the pre-tax fund or into the Roth account, whichever is going to be best for you. But that can be deferred up to the maximum limit for the year. And just keep in mind, for the cap on those leave payouts, of course, our annual leave cap is 480 hours. Our sick leave cap is 1,200 hours, but we only ever get paid for half of the sick leave. So the maximum you can get paid out for is 1,080 hours, but that's a pretty sizable payout. Availability of this money, when do you actually gain access to it? With the pre-tax account, you are only required to separate your employment. That is the only rule we have in order to access those pre-tax monies without any, there's really no penalty at all. Just as long as you've separated your service, it's available to you. Go ahead and start taking it. Any amount that you do take, of course, is going to be subjected to the federal and state income taxes. With the Roth, you do have to be 59 and a half, and 5 years must have passed since you started making contributions to that account before you can take that money out without any penalty. So you have to meet those two requirements in retirement, but once you do, that is completely tax-free money to you. If you had $1 million in there, you could take it all out and not a dime of it would be taxable. You can also take this money out if you are still employed with one of our participating entities at age 70 and a half. I know you all love your jobs. You want to be there for as long as possible. If you are still there at 70 and a half, just know that you can start taking those distributions while you're still working. Or if you have an unforeseeable emergency. Now, unforeseeable emergency, these are defined by the U.S. Treasury Department. You can find the list on their website, but it's not just, oh, I ran over some nails on my way to work, I've got to get new tires, or, oh no, my child has decided that they want to go to the University of Alabama and we don't have the money set aside for them. That's not going to be an emergency. We're talking catastrophic hardship like destruction of your home or unexpected loss of a loved one. And we don't offer a loan service with it. So once you take it out, it's out of there for good. Purchasing service credit. I mentioned earlier, service credit can possibly be in the tens of thousands of dollars to purchase. If you don't have the money all set aside right now, you can take advantage of RSA-1 as a savings tool to help reach that purchase price. So that compounding interest that's going to be posted onto that account, take advantage of that if you're going to save up for a service purchase. It does have to be pre-tax money, but you can use that money to make that service purchase with no tax obligation, because we're just going to move it from one account to the other. It never touches your hand, and therefore it is not considered a distribution and it's not taxable. Starting RSA-1, you can start RSA-1 at any time. There's no open enrollment window. You can begin this process either by taking the paper application forms, which I do have some of those with me today, or you can begin the process online through your member online services portal. The first part of the application is going to ask you who you are, where you work, and how you want your money invested. You can indicate both pre-tax and Roth, because they can be invested completely differently. We just need you to tell us where you want the money to go. Make sure you sign that page on the back and mail that into us. Second page is your beneficiary designation, which tells us who to pay the money out to in the event of your passing. You can have multiple primary beneficiaries. On the back, there's room for contingent beneficiaries. And if you would like to designate how much each individual should receive, you can do so by putting a percentage next to their name. Otherwise, we're going to split it equally among all of your primary beneficiaries. This page does need to be notarized. I am a notary public. I can notarize that for you today. Otherwise, most payroll offices have a notary somewhere. It might be you, but you can't notarize your own paperwork. Mail that beneficiary page into RSA. The last page is the authorization to defer compensation. So this is the form that HR needs in order to tell them how much you actually need to be deferring out of that paycheck. So most of you are probably already familiar with this form, but this form just needs to say either new enrollee, or maybe they're just making a change to their deferrals, the dollar amount that they want to defer, when they want it to start, and whether or not it's coming out pre-tax or Roth, and they sign it, date it, and turn it into the HR office. That same form can increase or decrease deferrals at any time. Once people are enrolled with RSA-1, we try to keep them on top of what their investments are doing. Every quarter, we do post a statement about the account performance for the past 3 months, showing how much was deferred, where all it's invested, and how it performed. And it also shows the lifetime performance of that account. The Member Online Services portal will also update your account balance on a monthly period with the previous month's returns. Keep in mind that your existing RSA-1 account balances can be reinvested on a monthly basis. That can be done either online or by filling out the form and mailing it to RSA. Your future deferrals can actually be reinvested daily. So money that's going to come out of a future paycheck, you can actually change how that is invested daily by sending the form into us or by going online. We're going to use the change that you made last prior to the end of the pay period. Lastly, existing RSA-1 accounts. If you have a pre-tax account that you have paid into and you are interested in possibly converting some of that pre-tax money over into the RSA-1 Roth account, you can do so. We do allow for conversions. Just understand it's a one-way street, so once you start that process and we start moving it over into the Roth, it can't go back to the pre-tax. Also understand that because that money was deferred out of your paycheck before any taxes were taken out, when you do convert it into the Roth, it is considered income at that time. So you will owe the taxes on it in the year that you convert it. RSA is not going to withhold for those taxes. We will send you a 1099-R that you will file when you do your taxes that following year. Cha-ching, yes. I'll say this. Now, I have a smaller account balance, and of course, I'm still in the very early stages of my career. But when I did my conversion last year, I was still able to get a refund from both the state and the federal government. So, just take that in mind. You don't have to convert the whole entire account balance. If you speak with a financial advisor or a tax expert, they can probably guide you to how much you might want to look at converting to maybe keep you from having any sort of tax penalty or anything like that. These QR codes will download the member handbooks straight to your phone as a PDF. These are also available on our website if you go to the publications section. Contact information, so email addresses and phone numbers. If you ever have questions, please reach out to us. But speaking of questions, do I have any questions about anything I've discussed today? Yes, ma'am.
I have an employee that was trying to apply for retirement and had 22 years with our agency. But he also had some service credits from TRS. Do those combine when they apply for retirement?
That's a great question. Many times we do have people who have crossed between one system to the other, whether they started under TRS or ERS, then swapped over to the other. Your time is portable amongst all of our systems. So if you have time under TRS and you move over to ERS, your time with TRS can follow you. There is a simple one-page form that those people need to fill out in order to move that time from one system to the other. It just asks them who they are, where they used to work, and where they're currently working now. And once we get that form, we can move that time from E to T or from T to E. If that is not done before retirement, at retirement, we will have that form sent to them so we can go ahead and do that at retirement. But that time would count towards the 25 years. It's just all got to be combined at some point. Any other questions? No? Did I do a pretty good job? All right. Well, thank you all so much. If you have questions or if you want us to come out, many of you, of course, are the HR and payroll managers at your place of employment and your agencies. If you want us to come and speak to your employees, let us know. We are happy to give this similar presentation to you and your employees at your place of employment.
Thank you, Jeffrey. All right, everybody, y'all ready for a break? All right, we will start back. What time is it? 2:40. We'll start back about 2:55. Okay.
There it is. I was just double checking. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. There were some little slips of paper with a document like this. I just want the little slip of paper back. Coming. Does anybody have any more? Hold them high, and Miss Jeannie will come and get them. Thank you, Miss Jeannie. Miss Jeannie. I'm going to shuffle a little bit more. Is that okay? I'm not going to waste any minutes, I promise. Y'all didn't gain some. I want to keep y'all on track. Any more? Bring them up. Bring it up. Going once, going twice. One more, 2 more, 3 more. I'm not fixing to lose this lead we got going on as far as time goes. Because I know y'all are ready to go. Trust and believe. Today's pre-Friday. I'm ready to go too. I am ready to go as well. All right, let's get this party started. You know I love you. I know, right? Look what you did. I know, right?
It takes a village.
God don't it. Anyway, how many people are members of the Alabama State Employees Association? Look at that show of hands. Yes. Well, good. That means I can talk faster. Alabama State Employees Association, ASEA. Guess what? We're not the bank. Let me just clarify that right now. We are not the bank. I at least get 1 or 2 phone calls a day or a week that says I need to close my account. I was like, okay, which one are you talking about? My savings account. Let me give you that 1-800 number. Well, isn't this it? No, this is the association that advocates for active and retired state employees. Oh, what's that mean? Can I get a job? Let me refer you to state personnel. ASEA has been an established association for over 75 years, advocating for state employees and retirees as well. Who is ASEA and what do they do? Basically, this little packet of information that my colleague placed on in your spots earlier today, when you came back from lunch, pretty much sums up everything we are and everything that we do. Plus, you have me. So, anyway, that being said, we're the ones that advocate for your cost of living increase. We're the ones that make sure that your retiree benefit is always fully funded. We're the ones that are your boots on the ground, so you know what's going on in the legislature in real time. We're your lobbyists. That's who we are, and that's truly what we do. Now, do we have every deal and discount underneath the sun? If you, this first page, this cover page at the bottom has my phone number and my email address. But let me clarify something right now. The fastest way to find me is my cell phone. I think you would agree, would you not, Miss Jenny?
Oh, I would.
My personal territory covers 22 counties. So basically all of the Montgomery and River Region area, all of downtown, all the way to the Georgia line, and all the way down to the Wiregrass and about halfway back. We have 3 field staff agents that do what I do with you guys here today. Go around and talk to state employees about the benefits of ASEA and why you should be a member. Are we a dues paying association? Yes, we are. How much does it cost? $9.50 a month. Guys, it's less than 2 Starbucks. And guess what? That door prize includes $20 worth of Starbucks. So you don't have to defer that $20 going into your RSA 1 account. I'm going to give you 20. How about that? If you're lucky enough. So that being said, because I don't know, sometimes I need some Starbucks like right about now. So that being said, do we have legal? Can you get a will done? Can you get a power of attorney done? Let's see. What else? We have every deal and discount underneath the sun. With your membership, you do get a $5,000 accidental death and dismemberment policy that is active as long as the membership is active as well. And that's the reason why we ask for a beneficiary. There is a packet, application packet on the back also. And then just some general information in between of some of who are our top sponsors. Legal services. Let me tell you right now, he's great. He's done nothing but state employment law his entire career. So if something should happen, heaven knows something might, it might not. But we are kind of like, the insurance company. You file a claim when you need it. You talk to an ASEA rep if you ever need it. But that being said, we're always here to support you, advocate for you, listen to you, and make sure that you're fully aware of all of your benefits. The partners that are listed on this next page right here, we got them from A to Z, life to death. Did you know you can get a discounted death and you only die once? Yes, that is true. You can. We do have a Dignity Memorial partner. They will come along with us and tell them about the discount and the benefit. We do supplement with life insurance, whole life, guaranteed issue, accident, critical care, long and short-term disability. I could go on and on and on and on, but I don't want to lose our lead. So that being said, this third document that says who, what, when, where, and why. Who, what, when, where, and why. This one right here. To me, this is one of the most important documents in this little packet of information. The who, because under Michelle Pratt, guess what? That's my cell phone number. Please call that first. Please call that first. And if you need to text me, do so, but please establish your name, who you are, and the reason for your text. And I will get back to you. Bye, girl. And the why. Why allows ASEA to potentially resolve grievances that may arise during a member state service. Let me read that again. Allows ASEA to potentially resolve grievances that may arise during a member state service. There's been times that members have never had to use us. They're about to retire. And guess what? They had a bad day and they told their supervisor about it. And guess what? Supervisor's like, what's gotten into him? Her. Well, you know what they did? They turned around and called ASEA. That's what you do. And we're like, you shouldn't have done that. Go back and apologize and let's see if we can make it okay. Sometimes we do good, sometimes we don't. But at least we help you navigate that hiccup or that issue. That's what ASEA is all about. Making sure that you get to that 20, 25, 30 years of retirement. Making sure that your employees that you retain, you onboard, and you hire and interview make it to 30 years. Because if we can get more people into the system working and handling those classifications, then in essence makes your job easier. That's what we're here to do, is to support you, the HR, in order to maintain and grow and to ensure that they get to that end of the goal, which is always retirement. The application's on the back right here. Like I said, it's $9.50 a month. It can be payroll deducted. And I thank you for your time today. I told you I wasn't going to lose any minutes. Did I lose any minutes? Did I do okay? That's what I'm talking about. Now, I've been standing up here shuffling. Ms. Jenny, you've been witness, correct? This is a nice little goodie bag today. I'm better than yesterday. And this has got two $10 Starbucks gift cards. Two. So that's $20.
So whoever wins, I get one. I've been working real hard today.
Right. I heard you all the way back there. Exactly. But anyway, all right. I'm going to let you shuffle one more time. And I'm going to let Ms. Blake do the do. And guys, please give Ms. Blake a round of applause for everything that she's done for the past 2 days. Miss Judy? Congratulations, Miss Judy. You might actually get that Starbucks gift card. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
How long do you have to
what you told me already, but okay.
Y'all, Miss Jean's the best.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much, Michelle. Okay, y'all. Last presentation of the day. Who's excited? Me. I know. All right. Now, y'all remember, don't be leaving. Don't be closing up too early on me, okay? Let me get through my presentation, then I'll let you go as soon as I get done. All right. So, Steve, health insurance in retirement. Who is eligible? You guys. You must receive a monthly retirement benefit check from RSA. Of course, like Jeffrey talked about earlier, we have the Tier 1, which is 25 years of service or 10 years of service at age 60. We have the Tier 2, which is 10 years of service at age 62. We also have a disability retirement with at least 10 years of service. Now, the key to this slide is that you must have 10 years of credible coverage with SEEB or PHIP. Years of credible coverage and years of service are not equal, okay? This is going to be important when we go over and talk about sliding scales. So years of service and years of credible coverage are not the same. What insurance is available in retirement? Of course, we have our health insurance plans, including our free plan options. We also have our standalone policies. Not all of the free plans are available in retirement, but we're going to talk about the ones that are shortly. So this is the retiree enrollment form. Does everybody know where to get this form? On our website, okay? If anybody is going to think about retiring, they will want and need to complete this form. It is only available to be printed off and turned in directly to us. It is not available to do online yet, okay? So this is all retirees must fill this out. In the RSA packet, it will detail this information, but all retirees have to fill this out and send it to SEIB. There's also a pre-retirement guide on our website. If somebody's talking about retirement, they have questions about Medicare, they're just not sure, and they're in the very beginning stages, y'all can lead them to that pre-retirement guide and they can kind of get some basic questions answered. And then depending on what they decide, of course, they can contact RSA or they can contact SEIB and we can kind of walk them through the process. I tell people, y'all retire once, but I do it every day. And I do it all different ways. I know, I'm young, I'm old, what the things. All right, so health coverage options in retirement. The state employees health insurance plan. Y'all know that's the CHIP, right? The group 13,000. We also have our Medicare Advantage plan, which is currently administered by Humana. Miss Nisha was nice enough to provide us with all the afternoon snacks, which were delicious, and I ate my weight in gummy bears, so that's good. So in order to have our Humana plan, you must have Medicare A and B in place, okay? That's through Social Security. You got to have that in place in order to have our Medicare Advantage plan. We also have the supplemental plan, the optional plan, and then a retiree-only HRA. For SEIB, I want to make sure that y'all all know retirement is a qualifying life event, which creates a special enrollment period. Okay, that is different than PHIP. PHIP does not consider retirement a qualifying life event. SEIB does. Okay, so that's different. And if you have somebody that's kind of questioning, if their spouse is a teacher, they're trying to get everything straight, make sure they reach out to us, okay? Because that's how we can kind of plan for them ahead of time. So benefit changes at retirement. Of course, your health insurance premiums vary. We calculate our retiree premiums on what's called a sliding scale, okay? The Medicare requirement. Medicare eligible members and their covered dependents on a retired contract must enroll in parts A and B. Y'all are going to hear that a lot over the next couple minutes because it is important, okay? Members who are already Medicare eligible must be enrolled in A and B and have effective coverage on their retirement date, okay? So if you have an employee that is 68 and they're going to continue working and then they decide they want to retire, they have to have Medicare Parts A and B in place effective their retirement date, or else they will not have insurance coverage, okay? That is very crucial. Again, failure to enroll in that A and B will cancel your insurance at the time of retirement. It happens every single year, okay? They say, I didn't know, nobody told me. I'm telling you, okay? All right, so Medicare retirement is continued. Federal law allows enrollment in only one Medicare Advantage plan and one Medicare Part D plan, okay? Open enrollment for Medicare is about to start. There's going to be a lot of people that are at the Walmarts. They're sweet girls. Some of my great friends do that. If you like your state insurance, you let them laminate your card, but you just keep on walking, okay? Because the thing is that if our retirees enroll in any other Medicare Advantage plan, they will automatically be canceled in their state plan, okay? A lot of people don't know that. They'll talk to people, talk about getting this free grocery card that pays them $3,000 for groceries. But if they enroll in anything else, it's going to cancel their state insurance. They can only come back during open enrollment. A lot of times when people get somebody on the phone and they're talking and they enroll, they don't know how they got enrolled. They don't realize that they're enrolled for probably 3 to 4 months. So then once they realize that their state insurance is canceled, they can't come back until open enrollment. Okay? So it's very, very important. Happens every year. So make sure for anybody that's thinking about retiring, or if y'all have some of those retirees that still call on you, make sure they know. And if they have any questions about what they're enrolled in or if I'm doing the best thing for me, have them call us, okay? That's what we're here for. Of course, retirees and covered spouses on the Medicare Advantage plan do not have to do the wellness screenings, okay? Once they're on the Medicare, the Humana, they do not have to participate in the wellness. Now, if somebody's still working and they're 70, even though they're Medicare eligible due to their age, they are not on Medicare because they are still working and covered under the Blue Cross. They do have to participate in wellness. So that can get kind of confusing. People get real confused when they're like, but I'm 65, but you're still working, so we don't really care how old you are, because you're still covered under the Blue Cross. All right, so benefit changes at retirement. The supplemental plan is one of our free plans, and it's available to our non-Medicare retirees and their non-Medicare dependents with other group health insurance through another employer through their spouse. The premium cash option is one of the HRAs. It is only available to our active employees. The flex benefits, only available to active employees, okay? Now, with that being said, if you're a retiree working and you're on the Blue Cross Blue Shield Medical, you can enroll in flex because Medicare is not your primary, okay? So that one gets a little bit confusing too. The retiree-only HRA allows you to spend down the balance. If you've had one of those free plans, one of the HRAs, the premium cash option or the limited purpose HRA, and let's just say you retire from state government and you've got $20,000 in that account. The thing is all of that money is going to go with you into what's called a retiree-only HRA. It's going to become a spend-down account. Once you spend that 20 grand down to zero, it goes away. You can use it on reimbursement for Medicare premiums, eligible medical expenses. It can be widely used during retirement. Of course, as SEIB members, we are only eligible to enroll in one health insurance plan. You must have other group health insurance not provided by SEIB in order to enroll in one of these free plan options. All right, more benefit changes at retirement. Is anybody going to retire and go back to work? No. I really don't have a group that knows that everybody tells me no. All right, y'all. So the thing is post-retirement employment. I mean, I'm down. I'm going to go with y'all. So the thing is that if you are going to retire and you're going to get a new job, okay, if your new employer pays 50% or more of single coverage insurance, no matter if you need family coverage, if they pay 50% or more of single coverage, you have to take your new employer's insurance, okay? So you want to make sure you're thinking about retiring and you're calculating all this, reach out to your benefit advisor, okay? Because the thing is, I've had people who are like, yeah, I want to retire. They didn't realize they had to take their new employer's insurance. Well, they pay 50% of single coverage, but they still only pay that $250 towards family coverage. So then they realize they can't retire because they can't afford the insurance. So the thing is, if you are working and they offer insurance and they pay 50% or more single, you have to take your new employer's insurance. Now, spouses must have Medicare A and B in place regardless of their employment status, okay? So let's just say that I retire, my husband's still working, but he is on my retiree insurance. Even though he is still working, he's on my retired contract, so he has to have Medicare in place, okay? This can get confusing because you hear, well, I'm still working, but if he's on your retired contract, then he's got to have his Medicare A and B in place. Okay? Of course, that's when you can call us. That's what our job is. That's why we're here. We do like our job. We hopefully keep it. So y'all, call us. There's no dumb questions in insurance. Okay? All right. So this is really all y'all care about. You just want to know how much is it going to cost and when can I go? All right. So the retiree sliding scale. Of course, employees retired on or after January 1st of 2012. Your premium is based on years of credible coverage in the CHIP. Remember that very first slide I told you? This is going to come up. Employees retired on or after January 1st of 2012 without Medicare. Your premium is based on years of credible coverage in CHIP and your age at retirement. So we base it on your years of credible coverage and your age at retirement. So there's two factors on that sliding scale. So the years component. This is your years of service is not equal to years of credible coverage. This is why. Okay, your insurance is calculated on years of credible coverage, which is where your agency has paid into the state-funded insurance pool on your behalf. Okay? If you worked for the Board of Education and you had PHIP, they are paying into the insurance pool on your behalf. Anything with PHIP and CHIP, okay? So that's how years of credible coverage are calculated. So for example, an employee who works or worked for a local government entity that participates in ERS may not be able to use those years of credit towards their SEEP insurance premium, okay? Let's just say I worked for the Waterworks, okay? The Waterworks has their own insurance. They don't pay into the state-funded insurance pool for SEEP or PHIP. So if I have 10 years, because I started at the Waterworks and then I came to work for SEEP for the last 15, I got 25 years of service, but I only have 15 years of credible coverage with SEEP. Does that make sense? Everybody good there? Okay. This one can be a little tricky. All right. You get a 4% increase, y'all, for every year under 25 years of credible coverage. 4% is a lot. You get a 2% decrease for every year over 25 years of credible coverage. Okay? I got any overachievers in here? No, Miss Jean's one. So the thing is, the longer you work, the less your insurance is going to be, right? Y'all just keep going. Okay, so now the age component. So this is your age at retirement, okay? So your premium will be calculated on your age at retirement until you are Medicare eligible, because Medicare basically takes the age component away, okay? So the thing is that your age, if you retire at 55, your retiree premium is going to be based on your age at retirement. It's not going to creep down and get less and less the closer you get to 65. Whatever you retire at, that's your age at retirement. That is what your insurance premium is going to be until you hit Medicare eligibility. So, of course, example, two state employees, ages 60 and 62, retire with 25 years of credible coverage with the same coverage. The 60-year-old is going to pay 2% more than the 62-year-old for the same coverage until Medicare eligibility, okay? Don't go talking to your neighbors comparing apples to apples, because there's not a lot of apples to apples, okay? So it can get kind of confusing. So that's why you really want to be careful when you talk to people about their insurance and you're like, hey, I think I'm supposed to do this. Call us, okay? Call your advisor. That's why we're here. So, of course, you get a 1% increase for every year younger than 65. So the key to retirement and the key to the sliding scale is 25 years of credible coverage at age 65. So, like we talked about, Medicare eliminates the age component of the sliding scale. So, SEIB, we must be notified if a member and or your covered dependent becomes Medicare eligible prior to 65. Okay, a couple of reasons for that are disability, ESRD. The thing is that if you don't let us know that you or your covered dependents are Medicare eligible, we're not going to swap you over to the Medicare Advantage plan. Okay, so if you have a spouse that becomes Medicare eligible at 60, it is your job to let us know. Send us a copy of their Medicare card so that we make sure y'all are enrolled in the right coverage. So this is where you calculate your premium. Has anybody calculated their premium before? I do it all the time. Sometimes if I get mad at my spouse, I just kick him off and see how much I'm going to save. So the thing is, y'all, you can calculate your premium at any time. It is now located behind your MySeed account. So you remember we talked about that two-factor, that confusing word I can't say. The thing is that you go behind your MySeed account, and that is where you'll find the calculator now. Okay? So if you can't find it on the new website, it's because it's not there. It's on your MySeed account. And so, of course, if you put in incorrect information, it's going to give you an incorrect amount. This is the exact same calculator that we use in the system. Our IT has built it, so it's the exact same one. Okay? So this is where you can get an idea of what you're looking at. Now, it is just an estimate. You can't do it and hold me to it. Okay? So give me a call, but everything that we give you is just an estimate until we get everything verified through RSA. All right, so continuing coverage after your death. This is something that comes up quite often, unfortunately. So surviving spouse coverage is available if the spouse is covered as a dependent at the time of death, okay? Surviving spouse coverage is available. What happens is if you send us a copy of the obituary or the death certificate, we will then process surviving spouse coverage information. Then just say if my spouse passed away, I would become the subscriber on the policy. Okay. If the surviving spouse ever declines continuation of seed coverage, they can never come back. Okay. I tell my husband I'm going to haunt him in his dreams if he declines my coverage for my children. He knows. All right. So the thing is that the surviving spouse rate is tied to the active employee rate. Okay. Surviving spouse coverage used to be very pricey. We made a change a couple years ago where it's now tied to the active employee rate. So currently, family without a spouse with all the discounts runs $220 per month. That's what surviving spouse coverage will be. So that's very, very good. Yes, ma'am.
If this happens, like who tells the spouse? How would he know?
We send paperwork. So what happens is you'll want to encourage them to reach out to SDIB. They can, of course, call Kristen or myself. And once we get a copy of that obituary or that death certificate, then we'll send it to enrollments. They will process it, and then they'll go ahead and send surviving spouse paperwork. All right. Open enrollment. When is it? November 1st. Yeah, all get gold stars. So that's when you can do your plan changes, status changes, flex benefits enrollments, right? You can also enroll in Flex online through December 15th. If you wait till December 14th at 11:30 p.m., we can't help you because these boys are going to be in bed, okay? So don't wait until the last minute, but y'all can enroll through December 15th through the online portal. Of course, your wellness premium discount deadline is October 31st. I do want to mention that Kristen and I are trying to gather some open enrollment material so we can send out packets to you guys. Y'all know we start doing that sometime in October. If you have not heard from us, reach out to us. Say, hey, Jeannie, can you send me the information? We're going to send you what changes are coming, a cheat sheet, and then a flex form, okay? So you can just send that out to your agency and everybody will be taken care of. Then it won't be your fault, right? You can also contact us. Of course, our new website hopefully is dropping next week. You can also reach us by phone. Of course, we are in the RSA headquarters. So RSA is in the building. You can come see them on the first floor. Then you can pop up to the second floor and see us as well. I was about to say, y'all getting ready to go? Y'all think it's over? No, just kidding. All right, and then these are your benefit advisors, okay? I'm Jeannie Blake. I'm the director of this department. Thank y'all so much for coming. Kristen Henderson takes care of the southwestern part of the state. We currently don't have anybody from North Alabama, so y'all just contact us. Y'all know open enrollment's coming. Give us some grace. Y'all know we will get back to you. Give me at least a day, okay? Email me, text me if you need me.
I'll take it.
Oh, Jeremy will take it from here. Thank y'all.
Hey, we want to thank the ALDOT for hosting us. It is very rare to find a facility this nice that offers a free place for us to meet and talk about your benefits. Yeah. So 2 things we can do to help them. Everyone go ahead and take your badge off. And when you come up here, just make sure you drop it in the box before you leave. And if you see any trash right around you, if you don't mind picking that up and throwing it on the way out. There's receptacles all the way around. And thank you so much.